Hey followers, today we want to talk about what is the next step, and again my thoughts about the market like always, but what happened last week and what are my predictions what the market can do at the next move. So let's go on the last week. So what do we have here? First of all, we had the FOMC statement, and here nothing special came out. He just said that recent indicators pointed to modest growth in spending and productions. Job gains has been robust in recent months and the unemployment rate has remained low. Inflation has eased somewhat but remains elevated. And the targets of them to going higher with interest rates as soon as they see the inflation at 2%. And now the question is, what kind of problems do we have? So, first of all, we saw, or first, they said maybe important as well, at the conference, Jean-Paul said that they're not going to decrease the interest rates in this year, which means it would be an absolute soft landing, because just in your mind, when has the Fed to decrease the interest rates? Obviously then, when the market will be not robust anymore, if the market is crashing to the downside. So if we see a rally up to the upside in the unemployment rate, if the US can't pay their debt anymore, these are the reasons when interest rates has to come down. And if they say he's not going to do that because he will not do that in this year, means we might maybe not see a recession in this year. And if we're checking this one, we got on the non-farm payrolls, we got new 517,000 new jobs, and the unemployment rate went to 3.4%, which is the lowest since, if we're checking that, which is the lowest since, and we're going to max, 40 years. So since 1917 we didn't had this kind of low unemployment rate. And now, of course, you could say, but all the big tech companies laid off a lot of employees. Yes, they do that. If you're checking that, let me refresh this page. They already laid off 88,000 employees in 2023, right? But we have to compare how much of the tech companies are in the economy of the employees, and we see that here just at 2%. And if we're checking this one, you see since 2019, since Corona came, they increased the employees from 137,000 to 164,000. As well, here you see Apple from nearly 800,000 to 1.5 million. So they just increased like heavily the employees, and this means obviously they just get rid of some employees right now because they don't do that great. And as well, we can check the earnings, how the earnings went. Obviously, we don't have to just check the price action on the stocks itself, because obviously the companies are happy to get some money back if the market is low on price again, right? So if the stock is low, then normally the company itself is buying back some stocks, which was as well the reason why the market pumped. But then, because of the bad news here, the market went down again. So this is all about last week, but let's come to this week. What do we see this week? This week we have Jerome Powell speaks again on Tuesday, and this is nearly the only important news we have. Overall, there's nothing special, so we see clear movements in the market, which is nice. This is what we want to see, right? As well, if we checking the CME watch tool, let me refresh this page here as well, that we all times have the newest probabilities. And you see for the next meeting, which will be on this 22 of 3rd, we get a 96% that we're gonna rise another 25 basis points. Then on the next meeting, which is on the 3rd of the 5th, there's another 60% chance that we see another rate hike of 25 basis points. And then you see we are here. This is the first time when we see more people priced in that we go lower again. So we see we are back at 5%. But yeah, this is what is already priced in the market. If we're checking the fear and greed indicator, which is interesting as well, we're at 75 right now. So we have extremely greed right now. Everyone is buying the market. We see normally the volatility is super low. It's not high. So the VIX is still low. If we're checking that, every time the greed indicator was high, the market topped and we went lower. So both super interesting. If we're checking at the medium term risk, we see as well we are at the highest level since 2021. Which is interesting as well. And here another example for the Fed funds rate. The last time we had that 98 to 2002, we were in the same situation. Market went up, and when the market, the interest rates, fund rates went up, but the NASDAQ went up by 40% as well. We had that right now in the market as well. And after that, the market just crashed to the downside and made new lows. So what's the plan? What could be the plan for this year? We could see two other increases, rate hikes to the upside, which will be at the 3rd month and at the 5th month of the year. And then on the 12th month, we maybe see to stay steady on the interest rates. And if that's happening like that, then it maybe we don't see a recession, right? Because you all times have to think the Fed can just go down with the interest rates if the unemployment rate is going higher. Why? Because we get a salary inflation. If a lot of people are in good jobs and they pay well, obviously if they still can buy the products, right, we are in a salary inflation, which means we get a high inflation. And this is what the Fed doesn't want us to do. So we still could go up to 6, 7, 8% if the market is robust and we don't see any changes in the unemployment rate. Then of course the market or the Fed can still rising interest rates. We see that here as well, stablecoin supply just crashed into the market, which could lead into a FOMO move. What we see here's a nice post about that. We see that the short-term holders, the SOPR, is going down, but the Bitcoin price was going up. And there are two reasons why this happened. And here he wrote that very well. The first one is those who missed the price increase are now making purchases. They're now buying into the market. So this is what we call FOMO, right? And then this other thing is people just selling right now in profit because they bought already earlier at the cheaper price. We saw this kind of movement here, and then the market went kind of 40% to the downside when we had that the last time. So super interesting. But let's check the charts, what we see there. So overall, we see the VIX is in our critical level, and market is still going sideways, and we're still above this trend line. If we're checking the dollar index, we had the perfect trade here where we said we want to go to the 101. If you again check the newsletter from myself, I'm posted since 2 weeks that we're gonna see the 101, and we perfectly saw the 101. And just go in the description, enter your email address, super simple, it doesn't cost anything, and you are in the newsletter. And then dollar index just pumped up. And if we're checking the S&P just pumped up. We got a little retest of a trend line here. We still have the possibility to go to 4,233 and then going lower, or if we close below 4,086, we have the possibility to go to this lows here to 3,964. The same we have with the NASDAQ, but NASDAQ is a little bit more complicated. There's a possibility for a long around here at 12,270. Or if we don't take this one, if the market is not doing that and the market is closing directly below 12,110, we might see new lows coming here to lower levels at 11,590. Interesting as well, BTC. That's why you're watching that, I guess. If we're checking BTC right now, you will see that this line was holding perfectly. We didn't got it close above 24,000, which mean a little bit bearish. I still have this kind of scenario that we kind of, before we going to new highs, if we're going to new highs, we're taking out this level, so we will drop to 22,000. And then, as I see here, I just have question marks. The market can reverse directly from there, and then closing above 24,000 and going back up to 27,000. Or if the market is closing below 20,000, we will see then for new lows, and the market will definitely go and take this liquidity void out, because this was a vertical move to the upside. This is normally not staying in the market. But the only thing what I can predict is that if you have a lot of exposure, I would take out some exposure, take some profits, and then you could buy here something back in. But I think DCA, dollar cost average, is super nice if the market is coming here to this levels. Checking the next chart, which is ETH. We see the same. We said if the market is taking out this buy side liquidity, we want to go lower. If the market is closing below 1,577, the market has more possibilities to go lower, to go below 1,500 until this lows, and then we have the same situation. Market can go from here even lower or could go up. I cannot predict the market. The market is doing it by itself, and the only thing what I can say from the technical part is, if the market is coming to 1,325, I think then we take out this lows here at 1,070 and 1,177. What I want to show you as well, if we're checking here and we want to check where we have some limit orders, and we see we have 1,100 limit orders at 22,500. So the market normally gets that. And then you see as well, if you're checking the daily, we don't have much on the upper side. We have a lot of limit orders here, so it could be buy orders, so people sell here and taking some profits. So it is around 786 we have as well at 20,250, and we have some below here again. So we have more levels to the downside, which means the market can still go to the downside. And yeah, there's nothing much left. So at least the retest of this VWAP at 18,930. If we're checking ETH, you see ETH has some limits here, 6,706, and here we have 9,900 ETH, which could sell limit buy here, right? So there are some limit buys over there, which could act as a resistance or as a support, obviously. But normally, if there are so many buys, then it could be possible as well that we're taking them out. But it could be as well some profits from some short orders. This is very important to know. And so yeah, we saw these levels over there as well. There are not much levels or no levels left on the upper side. But there are a lot of levels to the lower side. So yeah, these are the liquidity we still see in the market for ETH and BTC. I hope you liked the video, and yeah, I would like if you give me a follow and a like for that video. And again, in the description of this video, you will see the newsletter, and you see as well a link to our partner exchange bidget, where you have the possibility to get a $1,000 bonus. So have a great week, and we're gonna hear us later again. Bye.